Casper, thanks so much for sitting down with me. You're managing the AIB. Can you explain in a nutshell what the AIB is doing?
First of all, Marcel, we create awareness. And we do that at different sides. First of all, the companies themselves, the member companies. We have special programs for that. And in the second place, the law enforcement agencies. I mean, the agencies in the different countries where we have a lot of problems. I'll give you an example. In Italy, we work with Guardia di Finanza, Carabinieri, and the anti-fraud agency of the Ministry of Agriculture. So it has been a process of creating awareness. Hey guys, there are illegalities going on. And what triggers in particularly them is that there is much more illegality around our concern. I mean, we are concerned with PVP, sure. But of course, if you start sowing illegal seeds, often the crop is also illegal, so it's non-existent. So you get tax evasion, but also in vegetative reproduction, you have environmental laws which are not respected, etc. Even child labor, slavery labor we come across. So there's a whole range of illegalities who are triggering law enforcement, and it's just making them aware.
Yeah. Very broad working field. Yes. I wasn't aware that it was so broad. Yeah, that's great. So, but why was it necessary to create an organization such as AIB?
I think the infringement has been in our industry for decades, but early this century we saw a major push when vegetative reproduction took off. And why did vegetative reproduction take off early this century? That was the emergence of grafting. Because at the moment the plant raisers, growers started grafting, it opened their eyes for the possibility of vegetative reproduction.
Yeah, that's the main reason.
That's the main reason. For the creation of AIB. Later on, we were confronted with other major new streams like the theft of parental lines, for instance.
Yeah. So you mentioned intellectual property rights already. Which forms of IP rights are most infringed in your business?
Well, the heart of the business is plant variety protection, breeders' rights. But second is the legal concept of trade secret theft. We are confronted right now with a lot of cases where parental lines have been stolen, and are used to produce hybrid seeds, copies of protected varieties. Third, I would say trademark infringement. So those three areas are. So let me just try to illustrate that. When you look at the major areas of infringement, first is vegetative reproduction, and that you find in, say, the higher value hybrid crops like tomato, first place, but also melon, watermelon, squash. That's one. Second is the more traditional infringement, I would say, the reproduction of OP, open pollinated crops like lettuce and beans. Third place is the theft of parental lines, which, as I said earlier, is really emerging and getting now to very serious levels, causing major financial losses to companies. Fourth place is, and then it's mainly Eastern Europe where that takes place, the F2 in onion, of protected varieties. Then we have the straight counterfeit packaging, so trademark infringement. But that is, I would say, in the lesser developed part of the world, but still big. It can be big in volume. And the last one is the fraudulent use of rootstock varieties, meaning growers or plant raisers not delivering the ordered rootstock, and causing also problems, of course, later on in the culture.
Yeah, so there's a lot of infringement going on. Can you share a few of the achievements of AIB?
Yes, surely. I'm happy to do so. I think when vegetative reproduction emerged, we also saw the fact that after having grafted, that the growers were supposed to throw the beheaded plant. Okay, you take the cutting from the cultivar.
Yeah.
They didn't do that, and they sold the stub, as we say, the beheaded plant, as a second plant, which gave them great benefits, obviously. And they strongly believed that that was legal. So we had really to put down our foot. Mm-hmm. And we did it in Spain. And in fact, we had 2 plant raisers condemned to prison terms through Zes Lieve. I would say that, that was really making a showcase and showing to the growers community, listen, this is the way the law is structured. Mm-hmm. Another achievement is, I mentioned that awareness creation of law enforcement agencies is key. In Italy, we have protocols, formal protocols with the three major law enforcement agencies, Guardia di Finanza, Carabinieri, and the ICQRF, which is the anti-fraud unit of the Ministry of Agriculture. We also provide training to the agents, how to do an inspection. Mm-hmm. And that, of course, is a major achievement because, you want, the law enforcement, their eyes open to be alert so that they can actually, without our intervention, do their own activity on their own.
Yeah. So would you say that as a result of all your work in AIB, has the attitude changed a bit on the grower side?
It put a lot of the growers at guard. Okay.
Good.
No, I think people still today, to a large extent, regard plant variety protection not as something very serious to respect. So, in that way, yes, when you go to Sicily these days, tomato growers or plant the young plant growers, they take PVP, they know PVP, and they know the limits of when growing a plant variety, a plant protected variety. So there we made a major, I think, inroad in the positive side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. How do you see the future? Will there be more IP infringement, less infringement? What's your take on that?
Well, so far we see an increase. Okay, I just mentioned the theft of parental lines of blockbuster varieties. I think the industry is facing a fundamental question about the way they conduct their business. I explain myself. To enforce PVP has proven in the 10 years that I'm now leading AIB a major challenge. Prosecutors, judges find PVP a very, very complicated concept. And they always ask me, listen, why didn't the IP right holder not get a patented gene in it? Because for patents, it's easy and we know how to deal with that, etc. When you look at the trouble we have in the court cases, we have about a dozen court cases going on. And some of these cases take 6-7 years to come to a conclusion. And it goes back and forth on how to interpret the US test and et cetera, et cetera. So judges do not feel at ease. So that means that if you could come to more what I call bilateral sales agreements, that you sell seed, but with a specific contract, allowing you also to inspect the grower's premises. and so on. That would help. Because the major difficulty we have as a sector is that the users of the seed cannot be inspected, because I cannot get into a greenhouse like that, and even sales conditions. You can, of course, all the companies have in the sales conditions incorporated the right to inspect the premises. But in many jurisdictions that does not hold. The privacy laws prevail, and therefore you eventually get in, but maybe 6 weeks after requesting an inspection. So a bilateral sales agreement whereby you can actually say, okay, you agree, buyer, you agree that I come and inspect your premises. That would give you a lot of more grip compared to what it's now. So I think there. The way of selling seeds, and in fact, when you look at the flower industry, that's a good example. I mean, the flowers are sold that way in many cases. Fruits, same thing. Well, even with the club system, where also the fruits are marketed in a similar way, which makes enforcing your rights much more easy. So in that respect, we still have a way to go.
Yeah, a long way to go. Yeah. Unfortunately, you're close to retirement, Casper. Any luck finding a successor?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Who is it?
It's Liam Jaimon, and he started 1st of October.
Okay.
And he'll take over my formal responsibility 1st of January. And Liam has a law enforcement background. Okay. And that was a conscious decision because of the management of investigations is becoming more and more a central activity, and he is very well equipped with the experience he has to play that role.
Mm-hmm. How so? How is he so well equipped?
He's a police. Yeah, he's a policeman.
Okay.
So
a good background.
He has a good background. Has, of course, a very good network as well. That's important too. Mm-hmm. With the law enforcement agencies worldwide. Okay. He had 3 years. His last 3 years were with Interpol. Okay. So I think he will do very well.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Casper.
Pleasure.